Hello, this is Cody Havard, and I want to talk to you about a project entitled Introduction of a Hierarchy of Outgroup Behavior. I worked on this chapter with Frederick Grieve and Ted Peets, and it will be published in the book Rivalry and Group Behavior Among Consumers and Brands, Comparisons in and Out of the Sport Context. Now, I'm going to briefly go through what we did in this project and our findings and implications. There is a longer video if people want to watch and get more information of how we actually developed this composite. So what we wanted to do with this project is, over the years, we've conducted 8 different studies comparing how people view their relevant outgroups in the sports setting and non-sports settings. And in particular, we've used online gaming, politics, mobile phones, streaming competition, gaming consoles, such as people who play using Xbox or PlayStation, Disney parks, science fiction fandom, and comics fandom between Marvel and DC. And what we wanted to do now is we wanted to compare the 9 different settings, including the sports setting, to determine where differences existed in the way people viewed and their likely behaviors of a relevant outgroup, and see if we can develop a hierarchy or identify a hierarchy and a spectrum to help future researchers and practitioners. So when we combined all of these settings in what we called the group behavior composite, and we compared those, we found that online gaming was at the top of the list as far as the greatest or strongest negativity toward a relevant outgroup, followed by politics and sport, mobile phones, streaming competition, gaming consoles. Again, that competition between users who play with PlayStation versus play with Xbox, then Disney park fandom, science fiction, and finally, comics. And so our hierarchy was split into 4 different groups. The highly negative group included the settings of online gaming, the political setting, and the sports setting. The medium highly negative group included the setting for mobile phone competition, people who use Apple products versus people who use Samsung products. And then the next step down in negativity, the medium negative group included the settings streaming competition such as Netflix, Disney Plus, Prime Video, and gaming consoles, those people who play using an Xbox or play using a PlayStation. And then finally, that bottom group, the low negative group, included Disney fans, their perceptions of the Disney parks versus their perceptions of the Universal parks. It also included Star Wars and Star Trek fandom and science fiction genre, and Marvel and DC fandom in the comic genre. And we also were able to identify and present a spectrum we titled the Outgroup Derogation Spectrum, where researchers and practitioners and interested stakeholders can look and determine where on a spectrum a particular setting falls as far as being more positive toward the more negative end of group derogation. Now, what all of this means is we will continue to do these comparisons. And as we do these comparisons, we will continue to be able to add more settings to the hierarchy and the spectrum to provide people a more fuller picture of where outgroup negativity and outgroup derogation is more pronounced than possibly other settings. The other really, really important takeaway from this is considering the common in-group, which states that if people have interest in something together, that they are more likely to start to talk to each other or view each other more positively than if they are diametrically opposed in their interest. So for example, if there are 2 people who are diametrically opposed in their political affiliation, however, they both like Disney fans or Disney parks, or they both like comics, so they're in this group over here, they're not as far in these groups and they're able to talk about this information over here, whereas maybe they're not able to talk about this information over here in the political setting. And further, maybe through that commonality, they can start to have those conversations where maybe over here, because they both have a similar interest, comics, Star Wars, Star Trek, Disney parks, whatever it may be, then they can start to further understand each other and not view each other so negatively when they don't agree on certain things. Thank you for your time. I hope this was informational, and please reach out with any questions or comments. Thank you very much. Have a great day.